Can we hear more about your phone repair part of your life? Like, what's the best, most surprised thing you ever brought back to life tech-wise? So, for those of you that don't know, prior to this YouTube channel kicking off, I had a business in the city, downtown Toronto, and the name of it was iUpgrade. The concept was mostly centered around upgrades. Like, in other words, it was difficult at the time to get compatible upgrades for various Apple products specifically, whereas you could just go buy any RAM chip to upgrade, or at least you had a wide variety of RAM chips to upgrade a Windows laptop. On the Mac side, specifically with PowerPC, which was before Intel, before the MacBook Pro, I'm talking PowerBooks, you needed a very specific type of RAM chip from only a handful of suppliers that was going to work seamlessly and be supported by your PowerBook. So I was like, okay, we have this little business, call it iUpgrade, and people coming in with like slow PowerBooks. Again, this was many years ago. We could kind of improve them a little bit. And that was actually easier than the repair business. But of course, things were increasingly getting mobile even back then with the iPods and things like this. And so a lot of what ended up happening, we have people come in and request repairs. One of the most common ones was just to put a new battery into an iPod. And a very, is that like a good review of our place back in the day?
Are you surprised?
Wow. No. I feel like I've never seen this or read it before. And there, I fixed a logic board for somebody. I bought a logic board on eBay for $100. Oh, he's talking about another? I don't know what he's saying here. This is a really long review. But he's saying we fixed his logic board and it worked for about a year after that. I think we probably told him that at the time. Customer Service Plus, I have an iBook G4 I purchased at Click on Mac. The owner said it will last you a long time. A few months later, it was broken and they charged me $35 to fix it. And then the problem came back. Then they told me another $35 and they wanted $800. So this was the place that he originally bought it from before coming to see us. Then he went and bought another logic board on $100 to fix it himself with the help of iFixit. It worked great for over a year, but recently I was having power problems, so I took it to Mac on Queen. Holy smokes, this guy just went everywhere. When did we actually help him? So he took it to Mac on Queen. The salesperson asked the technician, he said $1,000 to fix it. Okay. He did reading on the internet, discovered us, iUpgrade, at the time in 2009. I asked him if they had a used AC outboard plug. They did and installed it, presto, no problems, for $32. How about that, Will? Okay, that's us, finally. Holy smokes. Yeah, we helped out some people back in the day. It was kind of cool. Well, I really don't think this channel happens without that business taking off. Not taking off. I mean, we never made any money. But without that business having started up, which allowed me to have conversations with customers in store and realize that there was the degree to which there was enthusiasm around tech. Because then I could justify making content about it because I was like, wow, maybe this is worthwhile. Especially with the tutorial stuff and fixing and upgrades and stuff, which was some of the first content I published on other channels before Unbox Therapy even kicked off. So anyhow, there's an example of a cool story, which I didn't even have to come up with because this guy wrote a review back in 2009 on Yelp. It was a wild experience. I mean, it's tough. You're dealing with people who have come to you with problems. Almost exclusively is what would happen. Either their computer was slow and they wanted to upgrade it, or they had a problem, something was broken, some other store quoted them a bunch of money, or the Apple store themselves said you have to buy a new one. There's a lot of people with problems, and so sometimes you could help, sometimes you couldn't. You couldn't offer a solution that made any sense, and you just have to say, okay, you got to buy a new one or whatever. But I think it was a good experience in like dealing with customers. I think to this day, it helps you to envision the end user as like a regular person. Just like when I make these videos, I try to imagine who's watching it as like a regular person. And I think that's where the whole mandate for the channel for myself comes down to, as far as trying to be useful. Is it started in an actual physical way through a store like that, trying to be useful, trying to be helpful. And it remains kind of focused here. Of course, along the way, it fluctuates. It goes up and down. You may forget the mandate. It's hard at times. But like, I think when this channel, or the channel upstairs on Box Therapy. I think when it's working its best is when we're trying to be useful, when we're trying to insert some utility, we're trying to be helpful. I mean, we're going to have some laughs along the way, but I really think that's the goal. At least that's what we're aiming at. So